What's up, Infected? Welcome to the Quarantine. This is going to be a new segment that I'm kind of trying out. I guess you can call it a pilot episode. For right now, I'm calling it Kickstart the Week. Now, what is Kickstart the Week? Well, Kickstart the Week is once a week. I will be recording this Sunday nights and uploading it on Monday mornings, where I will cover the recent Kickstarters that have just come out from the previous week. Now, this first pilot episode, it's only going to be the first three add more option when I was looking through the past Kickstarters, purely because this is the pilot episode and I didn't want to have 10 million different Kickstarters. Now, if your Kickstarter is not on here, don't be offended. These are the ones that I'm going to be covering on here that I personally thought were really neat. However, another reason why I'm doing this is I tend to get quite a few emails about new games that are coming out and stuff like that, like press releases and stuff, and I don't know where to put them. And starting a series like this, or a segment like this, gives me a place to put those at. So that's another thing this is going to be for. I do, however, plan on continuing to do this, and I'm going to see how well it's received. If it's received well, then I'll continue to do it. If it's not received well, then I guess we'll go back to the drawing board. Of course, future episodes, the more I do this, the better the quality you'll get and all of that. So before we dive right into it, let's have a word from my sponsors.
The Manhattan Project, Energy Empire, #1 engine builder of all time. Harness the Earth's resources. An instant classic for worker placement games. Develop your economy. Manage your environmental impact. The #3 game of 2016. On sale now at retailers everywhere.
Now, the first game that's up on my list here is a game called Commands. It's Kommands, the board game. Now, this one looks like it might be really neat, where you start off as like couple peasants that are roaming around the board, and you eventually sprawl into this big civilization. It looks like it might be kind of a Civilization-style game. It looks kind of neat. However, one reservation that I kind of had with it is its asking price of the base pledge is $73 US. So that might kind of hold it down, but definitely take a look at that one. I think it looks like it might be kind of neat. The next one that caught my interest is The Open Road. Now, this one looks like it's you're a bicyclist and you're trying to tour around the United States, and you're trying to see various things. And similar to something like Ticket to Ride, where you have to complete from here to here, this one adds a third leg to that journey. So you have to start in one area, go to another, and then wind up on the other coast. And I thought that sounded kind of neat. However, looking over the Kickstarter, I was a little weary about, it doesn't look like there's very little, if any at all, player interaction, but still check it out. It looks like it might be neat. Then there's a game called Wreck-A-Mecha. Now, this one looks particularly cool for any anime fan or any mecha fan, where it looks like each player has a deck of cards, kind of like CCG style, but not a CCG. But you can have a deck of cards, and throughout the course of the game, you're going to be building this mech and fighting other people, and as they hurt your mech, the cards that you've put in it gets discarded, so you have to continuously put new things on it. It looked like it might be really interesting, but definitely check that one out. Then there's Settlers of Satan, which I'm just going to kind of throw this one in here. It's actually not even on my list. If you like Catan but you want to be edgy, this one might be for you. It looks like it's just a copy of Settlers of Catan, but really satanic. You're trading goats and blood and stuff like that. With that said, the components look really cool, but if you're an edgelord and you like Settlers of Catan. Another game that hit my radar is Streets of Stalingrad. Now, Streets of Stalingrad the map looks huge, and it looks like if Paradox Interactive made a board game as a grand strategy as a board game, that looks like that might be what this is. Now, it looks really cool. Doesn't have any minis. All of them are little cardboard punch-outs that have the symbols of the units and stuff, which is going to turn a lot of people on. It's also going to turn a lot of people off. But if you're like me, I love minis. But I'm also behind by like 3,000 miniatures that I'm never going to get around to painting. So I'm actually starting to get more inclined to get things that don't have minis in it. But either way, it looks really, really cool. It looks very epic in scale. Next up is Realm Master, the epic board game. Now, Realm Master claims that it's a dice-chucking, family-friendly battle with unique heroes and game boards. Now, I kind of glanced at this one a bit. It looks really neat. It looks like a little push your luck game. The artwork in the game is really nice. I do very much like it. I'd be very interested to see where this one's going. The next game that kind of looked neat here was called 12 Realms Dungeon Land. Now, Dungeon Land looks like it's something like Claustrophobia, and there's another game. It's a one versus all dungeon crawler that's very popular, that I cannot, for the life of me, remember the name of it. I've been sitting here for the past 5 minutes trying to find it. But either way, it looks like it's another take on the similar one versus all. You're going through a dungeon, but overall the artwork looks really neat. The gameplay looks like it might be really fun. Comes with some pretty minis, so maybe check that one out. Next up is Place in the Sun. Now, Place in the Sun, for full disclosure, I'm more than likely going to be getting a review copy of this as well to kind of go over, so we'll see about that. But looking at Place in the Sun, it looks like it's basically a 4X, but as a card game. It looks really interesting. The artwork in it's really pretty. So overall, that looks really cool. Next up is 1066, Tears to Many Mothers. Now, the artwork in this game looks phenomenal, but it almost looks like it's a Game of Thrones, the card game, which isn't a bad thing. I like the Game of Thrones card game. Some of the houses are a little overpowered, but either way. But this one looks very much like that. Even some of the characters that they show you can clearly tell they were inspired by certain characters in Game of Thrones. But either way, it might be something to keep an eye on. It does look like it might be really good. Now, I know I'm probably going to butcher this one's name, but Minerva, I think is how it's pronounced, is looks like a Greek city builder, where you have tiles similar to, Carcassonne, but you're building actual cities and having like the bathhouse here, and so you're putting these tiles down, and I'm going to assume from the little bit that I looked at that it's going to be similar to like Suburbia, where you get benefits of what's surrounding it and what's all throughout the city and stuff like that. It really looked kind of cool, and I like the Greek artwork and the Greek feel. Next up was a weird one. I couldn't really figure out a whole lot over this one, just kind of looking over it, because keep in mind with all of these, I only kind of briefly glanced over them, and if they caught my eye and they looked neat, then I kind of looked into them, and again, not a whole lot. But this one is Alchemy Magic is Real, the board game. Now, I don't really know what to say about this one. I'll put some pictures up. It just looks really interesting. I would also be out of my mind to not mention Zombicide Greed Horde from Cool Mini or Not. I shouldn't even have to say anything about this. Anybody who's going to pick it up already knows what it is, more than likely. It's Cool Mini or Not. It's like the industry standard almost for awesome minis, good components, shitty customer service. You know what you're getting into. It's Cool Mini or Not. Now, this one really intrigued me. It's Carcosa, a Lovecraftian game. Now, this one, apparently you're cultists, and you're going to the land of Carcosa and exploring it. Now, keep in mind, I could sound like a complete idiot here. I don't know a lot about the Lovecraftian mythos. I like the mythos. I hate the books. They're super dry. But as you see right here, I think is off camera. No, I think it's right on camera. I like a lot of the games. I have Kingsport Festival here. I have quite a few Lovecraftian themed games, and the Carcosa looks really neat. Last up on the list is Gruff, Rage of Trolls. Now, I like Gruff. I have the base game of Gruff, and you can never have too much Gruff. Gruff isn't necessarily the best game out there, but it is a very fun game. It's basically a spin on Three Billy Goats Gruff, but instead they've mutated these billy goats and they're fighting. It's just a good fun game, and when it comes to an expansion for Gruff, yes please. Alright, before I close up, I just want to mention that, of course, there's probably way more Kickstarters on here that deserve recognition and I should probably talk about, but this is just a kind of a staging point. We're going to see how well this is perceived, and if you guys like this format, I'll definitely put more time and effort into it, and I'll research some of the games a lot more, and you know, delve into it a little bit more, give more information about each one of the games. So, if you like this little format here, definitely let me know in the comments. For my sponsor, I will also have a link for them down in the description as well. But again, if you like this, leave a comment, let me know, and I'll keep doing this. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time in the quarantine.